This video is made possible by the following sponsors. Make sure to check out their products as well as the rest of my gear in the description below. Hey guys, Jimmy here and welcome back to Assetto Corsa for another video. Today, if you're on the PC, is update day, which means we've been given a free bonus pack. This is bonus pack 3, which includes 7 new cars as well as the Laguna Seca circuit. My attention, however, is solely on this Alfa Romeo Tipo 33 Stradale, arguably one of the most beautiful cars of all time. This car has a 2-litre V8 which produces about 230 brake horsepower, give or take, and weighs only 700 kilograms, which means this car is good for 0 to 60 in under 6 seconds and a top speed of around 160 miles an hour. Now usually in these videos I will take the car in question and race it on a circuit somewhere and just have a bit of fun with it. But today I'm going to be a little bit more selfish. It's just going to be me and the Alfa on a windy Italian road, the Trento Bordone hill climb, because I think this type of circuit, this type of road is absolutely perfect for this car. Fake leather driving gloves acquired, let's go and immerse ourselves in this Tipo 33 Stradale. Right then, so we are now on board in the 33 Tipo Stradale. And what can I say? This is a car that is both beautiful on the outside and on the inside. Look at this interior. Absolutely awesome. I especially love these sort of plain style switches here on the center console. And of course, front and center is our rev counter, because that's what you've got to be looking at in this car. So we go for a drive, shall we? I think we shall. Let's build the revs up. Not especially a hard launch because we aren't in a rush today. And away we go then for a nice afternoon drive in our beautiful Italian sports car on these fantastic windy Italian roads. So I've actually, a couple of things before we start, I've actually moved the rev limiter or the engine limiter up from 100, which is the stock setting, to 109, and that allows us to use the full range of RPM. This car, if the graph on the selection screen is to be believed anyway, makes about 230 brake horsepower at a peak of about 9,900 RPM, and that is what this limiter gives us. It gives us that full 9.9 RPM rev range, which means if we put our foot down, it's pretty sprightly when it wants to be. Not so much torque though. It makes, I think, 200 foot-pounds of torque, which isn't awful. Isn't the best in the world either, but this car likes to be revved, and we'll be doing a bit of that on this drive. We won't be driving at a million billion percent. I'll say about maybe 60-70% on the way around here. Oh. It feels a little bit scary doing this because I know that these roads are very windy and very scary. I need to sort of calm it down a bit because I'm only on a chill drive today, but the inner car enthusiast in me, even in sim, is just willing me to go faster because that is fun. Fast is fun. So a bit more about this car. Like I said, 700 kilograms, super light, which basically means, with it being so light, that the car feels a lot younger than it actually is. I'd say maybe like it handles like a car about 10 years its junior. Slows down very quickly, turns a nice response at the front. Actually has a tendency to understeer more than to oversteer going through quick corners, which is actually quite nice because it's a little bit more predictable. And it's actually really fun to drive on a circuit. Now, I know I'm driving on an Italian road today. I'm saying, oh yes, you know, you should do it too. But driving it on a circuit, this thing is super rewarding. But I'd say that driving through these sort of roads is where this car is absolutely 100% meant to be driven. Not necessarily at a million trillion miles an hour, but enough to get the old heart beating and the blood flowing. In VR, again, of course, this is even more special because I can look to either side and see these fantastic arches just pointing up from over my steering wheel. I'm going to be careful through this village section because it gets a bit tight through here. I sort of semi-know this hill climb. Not, I don't know it back to front. I know where some of the tight stuff is, so I'm going to try and keep out of the wall because the idea of just scraping this thing gives me shivers down my spine. I'm going to go back to the point of saying that this car makes sense on these roads because Kunos, the guys who make Assetto Corsa, the devs for Assetto Corsa, those guys are very Italian. Now, I know you can just be Italian by nationality, but I'm talking like full Italian, these guys, you know, and you can feel the love that goes into a car like this because it's not just a car to them, it's a national treasure, and right, it should be. It really should be. And it feels like that when you drive it. You feel the effort that goes into it. The sound. Oh, and the awesome downshift noise there, giving a big old blip on the downshift. Of course, full H-pattern in this car. So clutch on the way up and on the way down. As well, a little bit of a blip as well for good measure into the hairpin. Oh, I love VR so much. I can just look all the way to the apex and beyond there. That's sort of something that's definitely lost on a single monitor. I do have a handbrake bound, but I'm sort of not allowing myself to yank it because I need to try and be a somewhat civilized driving my Alfa Romeo around. This isn't a car to be slap trained. This is a car to be enjoyed. And I think the last time I drove up here on a video was in an RX-7. Very different to this, of course. But the act of just sometimes driving a car up a hill climb is like this. It's just very relaxing. And it should be. Sometimes you don't have to race all the time, guys. You know, sim race. I know that's sort of our entitled. That's what we do. But sometimes you can just sit back and enjoy something for what it is. And as my friend said earlier, you can just allow yourself to have a little love affair with a car like this, even if it isn't real. You know, we're all very much aware that this is a simulation, and that in real life I never have the opportunity to drive a car like this, but that's what makes sim racing and just simulations in general so magical, especially with VR now, because for all intents and purposes, although the world looks a little bit low res, I am here in an Alfa Romeo 33 Stradale, driving through some Italian roads and having an absolute blast. So what I'm going to do in a minute is I'm probably going to open it up a little bit. Again, I don't really know where I'm going, so I've got to try and read the roads as I drive through it, which is always a bit challenging. Now there's a hairpin here, so we'll put it down to first gear. Try and give it some beans out of here. Can we get the back end loose? A little bit. Oh, don't worry about that. You didn't see that. Up to the full RPM. Oh, wow. The road gets narrow through here. Be careful now, Jimmy. It's so cool in VR because the road becomes very narrow all of a sudden and you become very aware you're driving something extremely expensive. But the engine just wills you to keep on, you know. That's where it's happiest. It's happiest up there at high RPM. So you're rarely out of first or second gear, really, if you're driving quickly. He's just putting a smile on my face. It's just fantastic. Stuffy now. I said the brakes in this thing they feel like they're from a lot more modern car. Of course, this car being so light, you can probably understand why. Don't go too wide there. And even if you make a mistake on these roads, of course, you've got no pace notes or anything. I'm sort of just trying to read the road as I go through. The car is very forgiving, extremely forgiving. I think this is actually a really good stepping stone. If someone, because I get a lot of people say to me, Jimmy, how do you learn to drive certain types of car? You know, driving like an older car, how do you learn that technique? You have to find the car and just stick with it and learn how it reacts. And this is a really good sort of transition, I think, to a car with a bit more grip, to something a bit older, something a bit more lively. Once you get up to speed, you're getting up to, you know, maybe top of third, or top of second even, the car does start moving around a bit, as you would expect it to. You know, it's an old car. It does remind, although it handles very well for an old car, it does remind you every now and then that it is in fact probably older than your mother. Not mine though. No, actually, is it? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Mama Broadbent's pretty old. Don't let her hear that; she'll kill me. Come on, car. It does lack a little bit of torque load down there. So I'm full throttled in third gear. It doesn't really want to move. Sorry, at 3,000 RPM, and it didn't really want to move, even in first gear. I love having VR for this because you can just see what's coming. It's so much easier to read the road, and I get to just look left and I can see where I've come from. Although there's just a lot of trees around me right now, I know that I'm making progress up into this mountain. It's damn cool. I can't really say much more than that. Just allow myself a little bit of RPM there. I forget where this road goes though, so I'm going to slow down a bit. I don't want to put this into a tree. That would be an insult. I love the downshift sound. You can really hammer the throttle on downshift. You've got so much throttle there. You've got so much RPM available to you. Can we get on the power a bit here? No, I would not recommend. Doubt. Come on now. You can see on the brakes how the brakes turn the car. Still has a little bit of body roll this. There's a gear there somewhere, Jimmy. You meant to go into first, didn't you, mate? Not second. Doesn't matter. There's still quite a bit of body roll on this. And you can use that to help change direction. Bit of a opening up section here, so we'll give it a bit of throttle. They're getting tighter through here though. See those brakes? I shouldn't have made that. And the brakes just, yep, okay, you're in. I locked up a little bit on the way in, but I still made the corner okay. It wasn't the best corner in the world, but I got through there. Absolutely fantastic. And this is what it's all about. You know, again, I talked about the Kunos there, but I can just feel the passion. And the passion is now becoming my own, you know? This is what I think brings enthusiasts to sim racing and to driving simulators. Is they can do this. They can hop in a priceless Alfa Romeo and go take it around some windy mountain roads and not have to worry about bidding it, not have to worry about the guy you stole it from chasing you, you know, none of that. You can just sit back and enjoy it. Oh, it's getting a bit tight up here now. And having the objects, trackside objects right next to you really gives you a sense of speed as well. I mean, we aren't going probably beyond 60 miles an hour on this thing at any point during the hill climb. But by God, it feels like we are. This is such... This car is a car you experience. It's not a car you drive. And I always say, and there always seems to be Kunos will say this about, that if you're in a car and you experience it instead of just drive it, you know, you start feeling some of what the car is about, and that sounds so wishy-washy, but then you know the car's been made well. Now I have a good friend, Mr. Bacho. He is a massive, he's probably the biggest Alfa Romeo fanboy in the world. He drove this car and he loves it as well. And I think that's the biggest compliment you can give to anything, because we're sim racing snobs, we are over over SROL, and this car has been liked by probably the hardest man to impress. So, and you know the best part about this car and the best part about this whole pack is that it's free. 100% free. Do you have a Assetto Corsa? This is yours. Go drive it now. You've got no excuse. This circuit, part of a Assetto Corsa base game. Go drive it. And you'll understand exactly what I've been rambling about for the last 10 minutes or so. How long it's been. Into the 5 consecutive hairpins, or like the 40 consecutive hairpins up here. It's okay though. I'm pretty sure there's a bar up here somewhere if my memory of this circuit, this hill climb is intact. This is the sort of car you would take to the bar, and you'd guarantee you'd come back with a girlfriend. Or a boyfriend, or something in between, whatever's your poison. You wouldn't be alone on the trip back down, I can tell you that. It might even just be a car enthusiast that hops in and goes, "Hello, can I have a lift?" That'd be me, 100% me. "I noticed your car outside, can I please touch it?" Oh, every time I feel like relaxing a bit, I just let myself get carried away in first gear and experience that. Pretty much makes a difference. 10,000 RPM. There we go then, a little bit of an open part now. Into hairpin. You can see some mysterious tyre tracks there. I'm not quite sure how they appeared on track. This is definitely my first attempt. Wink wink. Oh no, oh no, oh, no. I did it! I hurt the Alpha, I'm so sorry. Luckily damage is off, but I still feel, like a part of me is just broken. I'm so sorry, enthusiast. I was trying to drive well. Oh, this is so special. I must just seem like I'm just rambling on, and I'm just enjoying this. It's just nice to sit here and enjoy it, and the best thing is I get to share it with you guys. And there'll be people who comment saying, "Oh, Jimmy, you're sad fuck. You've got your leather gloves on, you've got your VR on, you're not in a car, you're in a shed." And you'd be 100% correct. There'll also be those of you who share the feeling that I'm feeling. And it's very special. V-Spesh. This is just me giggling for however long it's been so far. Take a bit of speed through here, maybe. Oh no, we can't understeer. Told you that. There's that understeer coming in. Safe car to drive until you want to not understeer. Let's have a look to the right, shall we? That's where we've come from. A couple of trees in the way, and because this car's a bit of a low boy, we can't really see over the barrier. And Vassal. Well, that's probably a French way of saying it. I have no. I think Trento Badoni's in Italy. I assume it is. And there you go. There is our hill climb experience over. We'll pull over to the right now, go get ourselves a nice pint of Italian beer and go find ourselves a passenger to take back down the mountain. But guys, hope you enjoyed that. I think this car is absolutely fantastic and I wholeheartedly recommend going to give it a go. It's free, you have nothing to lose. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. If you really enjoyed it, hit subscribe to be notified of future videos. My Oculus Rift has just died, so that's a good place for it to die. Cheers for watching, guys. Have an awesome day. See you all next time. GG Oculus.